Hey there guys, this is MV and today I'm going to tell you the history of the entire universe. Of course, this is going to be a really long video I guess. Let's try. I think we can do it. Okay, so I'm going to start the video right now. Okay, so now the universe is a really small thing. It's tinier than the tiniest particle ever made, and then suddenly it turns into a huge balloon. It's like a big bang. Yeah, we're talking about the Big Bang. That's how the universe was formed. Now the universe is growing rapidly. It's turning bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Nobody knows why exactly, but it happened. And now there is a huge universe. It's really huge. It is less than a second right now since the universe was created, and there are protons and neutrons and electrons in it. And yes, there is gravity, so they clump together and form hydrogen atoms and helium atoms. There are more atoms of hydrogen and helium moving towards each other slowly and slowly, and here we go. We have created the first star in the universe. That's really a big accomplishment. Now this star explodes after a few million years, and there is a huge cloud of gas, but this gas is not helium and hydrogen only. There is a lot of other elements in there. There is almost all elements we have ever discovered in there. These elements spread out in the universe, and due to dark energy maybe they are separated. I don't exactly know how. This is unscripted, by the way. So there is a lot of gas now in the whole universe, and there is some dark matter which separates this gas maybe, and this gas starts to clump together, but this time there are many other clouds of gas also clumping, so that means more stars and more explosions and more stars and more explosions, and this continues on, and the universe is expanding. There is more space for more stars to occupy more space, and there is more space again for more stars, and this forms a billion stars in the universe. And you know what? These stars are coming together closer and closer and closer, and they form a galaxy. And there is not only one galaxy, there are a billion galaxies. Okay, one of these galaxies is a spiral galaxy. It's called the Milky Way. Now this galaxy has something special in it. It has a cloud of dust somewhere in the galaxy, a little cloud of dust which is coming closer and closer and closer and closer, and it forms the sun, and some dust escapes from it and it forms the planets around the sun. Okay, now there is a little rock in space. It's moving around the sun. We call it Earth right now. Okay, this rock is not cold, let me tell you. It's made out of the sun. Actually, the highest temperature on this rock is way more than it is right now, and there are a lot of volcanoes in it. And then suddenly something crashes with the rock, and this rock becomes bigger. Now it's a big rock. It's about the size of the earth which we are on today. There are little particles surrounding this rock. These particles turn into the moon. Oh yes, and thus the moon is formed. Now there are a lot of meteors falling in this area on this rock, which is the earth, and these meteors have water in them. This water from the meteor starts to melt because of the heat of the sun and of the planet, and it turns into, well, it's water, liquid water. We have got something that is actually a very important part of life. Naturally, there is a lot of meteors coming here, and there is an ocean of water now, and the volcanoes on the surface are still a little active. They spew out liquids and form land. Now there is land and there is water. Well, let's move out of the picture. Let's move to Mars and Venus. The same thing is happening with both the planets. They have a little water and a little land, and you know, all these three planets are perfect for life. Things are getting colder because things are moving apart and heat is dispersing. By now Earth has turned into a snowball. Yes, it's called the snowball Earth. Maybe there are more than one snowball Earths. Like first the Earth became a snowball which is ice cold, and then it turned back to normal, and then it turned back to a snowball. I don't know exactly why this happened. Maybe I will link it in the description. The Earth is now a snowball, and then it starts to melt and melt and melt, and it's back to normal. Now it's not like it was before. It's not very hot and not very cold. It's perfect for life. And guess what? Life evolves here on Earth. Yeah, that's true. It also evolves on Mars and it also evolves on Venus. So how does this life look? Well, it's in the form of little things. These little things are microorganisms. They are single-celled things which consist of only DNA and some other things. Some of these actually go up near the sun and they start producing something called chlorophyll. They are the first ancestors to plants. Meanwhile, on Venus, it's getting really hot and the plants are dying out. Now there is not a single cell in a living thing. There are many cells in a living thing. I'm talking about multicellular beings. And on Mars, life is basically thriving like on Earth. It's actually better than on Earth. On Earth, one cell, which is a hunter cell, eats another cell, which is a little cell which was trying to save itself, and they both combine with each other and they turn into the first cell with a powerhouse. It's called the mitochondrion. Now, this cell is very special because it is the ancestor of all the cells which are in our body right now. Yes, that's true. So these cells start to evolve into different species, and then on Earth, suddenly fishes evolve and many other species. This is called the Cambrian explosion. You know, kind of genetic explosion. A lot of different species coming into existence. Yeah, some species try to go to land, and guess what? They are not successful. But in a million years or so, they actually try it again, and yes, now they can go on land. And yes, the ozone layer is protecting them from all the harmful rays of the sun, so they can walk on land and everything. But there's one little problem over here. Well, they can't lay eggs on land. Well, that's literally harsh. It's hard rock. How can they lay eggs? So they go back in water and lay eggs and then come back to live on land. They are the first ancestors of amphibians. Now these amphibians evolved themselves to make such eggs that they can lay on land itself. These creatures are the first ancestors of reptiles. By now, life has stopped existing on Mars and Venus. Mars lost its life because its core went cold, and suddenly all the life started to disappear from it. Well, now the surface temperatures of Venus are so high that it can actually burn lead. So let's not talk about life being there. Something happens. There is a mass extinction event going on. Oh yes, all of them die. Wait, not all of them. Some of them survive. These things which have survived become peaceful dinosaurs which just like to hunt a little. But that's not it. Now there is another extinction event. Most people say this happened because of a huge meteor which struck the earth and the dinosaurs just vanished. Then all of a sudden there are these weird mammals which actually can move their thumbs. These are called the apes. At that time there were a lot of different mammals which don't exist right now, like weird elephants and stuff. This ape starts to use its thumbs and its sharp teeth and its tongue to communicate with each other, to make clans, with make groups. They evolve and they lose their fur a little slowly. Many people say that's because we live near the coast area. They turn into humans and they evolve and evolve and evolve. Actually there were a lot more species of humans, but we are gonna talk about that in another video. These humans evolve and they make huge buildings and they make memes, and finally here I am talking to you and wasting your time. Thanks for tuning in. See you. Hey, they're tinier than the. There are enough galaxies to close together. Not really very close, like this close. I don't know. Hey there, this is MV. Yes, we are, I guess, in the Lancia supercluster. Yes, Lancia, the guts of the suns. But we are gonna talk that about. Well, look. It's really, yeah, really exciting.